Well, hello everybody. I am in the kitchen again today, and that's very obvious because I have things everywhere. I have been working on a platter for spring brunch. And you can either use it for spring brunch or for lunch or an afternoon tea. And especially with the season coming up with bridesmaids lunches and Easter. So this is an easy way to entertain because you can create some of these the day before and then place them out beautifully the day you need them. And I'm not going to be teaching you any great culinary skills here. This is just some basic recipes I have that I want to share with you and ideas of how to present those. Now, I'm sure that many of you out there are much better cooks than I am, and I'd love to hear your ideas and hear about some of your recipes, and all of us can read through those comments. And then after a while, we have taught each other some wonderful, great ideas for entertaining. So what I have here is a platter. And of course, I've used parchment leaves, which I absolutely love the ideas of these. And I've used them for years. And I need to order some more, actually. I am almost out. And I have them for spring leaves and I have autumn leaves. So these are the spring leaves. And I'll link those below, so if you're interested in those, then you can also order them. And what I'm going to be doing is creating sandwiches, and I'm going to have vegetables, fruit, and desserts. And we're going to put it all on one platter, so you can serve your guests in one swoop. They can choose what they want, and then you can have a great afternoon of sitting around maybe with a mimosa or a glass of iced tea or peach tea, which would be great with this. So this is one of those easy peasy ways of entertaining because, like I said, you can make some of this ahead of time, place it out for your guests, and then hand them something to drink, and they can go through and choose exactly what they want to eat. The first thing I want to do is make sandwiches, and this is a sandwich that most everyone loves. It's egg and olive, and if you don't know the recipe for it, all you'll need is boiled eggs and green olives. These are sliced olives with pimento. You can buy them in the jar, and you'll need a bit of mayonnaise, and that's it. So let's make these egg and olive sandwiches, and I'll show you exactly how I do it. First, you will need an egg slicer. I could not live without my egg slicer. As a matter of fact, I have a couple of them. Just in case one's dirty, I can move on to the next. But that's important to me because I don't want to sit and chop up eggs with a knife like this. I love this, and I'll show you how I use it. You will need a bowl and a couple of boiled eggs. So the first thing I do is just put my boiled egg into the egg slicer in a vertical and horizontal direction one way, and then opposite the next, either vertically or horizontally. Just rotate it, and then what you have is chopped eggs. Could it get any easier than that? So I'm going to make 2 of those, and I just do it this direction, turn the egg around, and there you go, done. It comes out in tiny little cubes. So simple, and it makes the job so much easier. So we have that. Then you're going to need your green olives with pimento. And let's see if I have a spoon here. We're just going to add 1, 2. I'm not really measuring this. You can kind of tell by the ratio how much egg to olive you want, and you can always add more, so don't go overboard at first because you can always add a little bit more olive. And then I'm going to add, let's start with a nice heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise, and then stir. You will be surprised how delicious this is. I know that many of you probably have already had egg and olive sandwich, but if you haven't, make some and try it. You never know, it might be your next favorite sandwich. So, and actually, I think I'm going to add a bit of pepper to this. Hold on 1 second, here we have pepper. Just a bit of pepper. That there. Okay, we have that mixture made, and what I am using is Italian style bread. You can use any type of bread you like. If you'd rather have wheat bread, plain white bread, any type of small roll will also work, like a slider, maybe with sesame seeds. That would be great. And I'm going to cut the ends off. All this crust off. And I'm going to save these for croutons. I have a bowl here that I'm putting it in. I'm not putting it in the sink. And then we're going to cut this in smaller sandwiches. Let's put the egg and olive. And if you have not made this, make it a couple of times before you serve it to your guests and see how much egg to olive you would like. I honestly never measure it. I've made this so many times that I don't even think about it. I just know what it's supposed to look like. So give it a try. And we are going to stack these along the center of the tray. Like that. I'm going to make one more. And then get this bread out of our way because I need more room. And you can add more pepper to taste. I would not add salt because those olives are very salty. But you can always add something like paprika. That would work. I've not used paprika. Paprika to me does not have a lot of flavor. So unless you want it for color. Now we have our egg and olive sandwiches. Next, let's do chicken salad. And you'll remember in a previous video, I'm trying to remember exactly which video it is, and I'll look for that and I'll put it on the end of this video for you. But I use these phyllo shells. They are lifesavers. Look at the size of that. Is that not a perfect bite size? Well, I'm going to fill those bite-sized shells with chicken salad. And you can use tuna salad or chicken salad, whichever salad you would like. And I'm going to put a few of these out. These are always a hit. Now you can make your famous family recipe chicken salad, or you can buy it pre-made and just put it in the shell and then you place it out like this. And it's like I say, presentation is everything. If the food looks good, it's going to taste much better. If it looks as if you didn't try too hard, it's going to lose some of its appeal. be any easier. And it is so delicious. So I'm going to place these out of the way and I'll show you the next step. Now I'm going to make something similar to what we already have, but just slightly different, because you never know what your guests are going to enjoy, unless it's family members and you know their preference. But I like to have a variety of things available, and I'm going to cut this bread like we did before, taking the crust off, and I'm saving it. I'm actually putting it in this bag because I'm making a salad tomorrow that is a Greek salad, and I'm going to make croutons with this, with garlic and butter to put on my Greek salads. But I'm not going to make that salad for you now. I will make it for you in the future, but for now these are going to stay with me. I'm going to be putting those in the oven tomorrow and getting those ready. Let's do pimento cheese, simply because so many people love pimento cheese. And like I said with the chicken salad, you can either make your own or you can buy it pre-made. This I already had made up for yesterday, and I had plenty left over. So I'm just going to add this, and what I'm going to do is also add some parsley, just for the sake of looking a little bit different, so you know it's not the same sandwich as a chicken salad. So let's cut this like this. Now, if you entertain enough, you figure out all of these little tricks that makes it easy for your guests and makes it easy for you. And I entertain quite a bit. A lot of family members come to visit us, and we have lots of friends over, so I try to keep things on hand that can be used in a minute's notice. So I'm adding some parsley leaves. I'm actually just going to tuck a sprig of parsley in the edges of these so that you can tell it's a different sandwich, and the guests can either eat that parsley or they cannot, whichever they want. So I have tucked some parsley in there, and we're going to stack these up like this. Put a bit more parsley. Now, doesn't that look nice? Lots to eat, plenty to eat, and I have tongs to use to pick these up, so we're not going to be touching them with our fingers. So now we'll move on to something entirely different. So now we're going to make something that's always a hit, and that is deviled eggs. Adults and children. And you'd be surprised how often children want to get involved in making all of this. So when I have young family members over, we're going to have deviled eggs. And so what I have done is I boil my eggs. I put about a tablespoon or more of mayo, and I put sweet relish in this. And that's about it. You can add a few other items. I know you can add horseradish, which is delicious, but you have to be very cautious not to overpower everything with too much horseradish. So what I'm going to do is take a spoonful of this and put it in the half of an egg. I always cut my eggs horizontally so they'll sit flat on the platter, and that reminds me I want to put some lettuce down to put these eggs in. This is romaine lettuce because it's curled, and it's a nice little presentation. Let's do that. And so I'm a sucker for tradition. I hope you have some traditions in your family. I know that I think we are losing a lot of tradition. I honestly believe that the pandemic could not have been worse for our children. And so when you have the opportunity to teach the children in your family, whether they're yours or other family members that you've gotten approval to teach, then take that opportunity, because we are losing the chance to teach our children etiquette, manners, how to take care of themselves, like basic cooking. I don't know. I think that the point it's gotten to is it's a fast food world, down to the point of just eating pizza in a car, going someplace. And I am very much against that. If it takes a few extra minutes to make dinner to serve your children, then I think that needs to be done. And I think our children need to know how to take care of themselves and make their own food, make healthy food, because it's too easy to find unhealthy food. And basic etiquette. I am so shocked when I see people out that don't have the basic knowledge of even fork placement. Things like that just need to be taught. It's going to become lost, and the world is not going to be a better place for that. You can always not use good etiquette, but once you've learned it, you realize those who do not have that skill. Now, I was lucky enough to be trained by a lady who years ago taught the spouses of incoming senators etiquette and proper table manners, and just even how to properly get out of a car. And so I had that knowledge, but you can also teach yourself, and I keep saying children because I think they are just sponges for knowledge, and I think that we are the ones that can provide that knowledge for them. Now, let me wipe my hands off, and I'm going to get something I'm going to show you need in your library. Okay, now I know this is old-fashioned in the most old-fashioned way, because you can find this knowledge online. You go on any social media and you can find this, but I keep Emily Post's etiquette book. This is an ancient one, but I keep this book handy, and you would be surprised if you are just having a sleepless night, just flip through it. You don't know what you're going to find. The problem with etiquette and manners that I was taught by this lady who trained me, and believe me, I've forgotten 10 times more than she taught me. But you don't know what you don't know. If you don't know it, you don't realize why things are happening around you. For instance, let me give you a good example. I don't have a plate right here, but if you have a dinner plate and you're having dinner, let me find a fork and a knife. Pretend this is a plate. If you are eating dinner and you are finished with dinner, it's surprising how many people will just leave their forks out, or they'll just put them to the side on the table. If you will place your knife and fork parallel to each other with a knife down, that tells your waiter you are finished, and they will quietly come and take your plate away. But people don't realize that if they haven't sought out that knowledge, or they haven't been taught. So I make it my job to teach some of the younger children in the family these simple little rules. I personally saw an interviewee for a firm that I used to work for go to dinner. That was one of the tasks for someone in the firm, was to take an interviewee out to dinner. And the interviewee may not have realized it, but they were being interviewed during dinner. They were taken out to see how well they behaved with clients. And so I was at this dinner and I watched this gentleman. He was not super young. I would say he's late 30s. Should have known. He ordered meat, he took his fork, and he held the fork this way and cut his meat. Well, he didn't get the job. And I was in a meeting about it later, and there were so many bright people interviewing for that one job that it was easy to find something that someone did not like about the interviewee. And that was the one thing. that they couldn't send him out with clients because he was not trained properly. Now, they could have set up a etiquette training course, but they thought at this point in his career, he should have already known how to entertain clients. And that one thing lost that gentleman his job. He will never know that's why he lost his job, but that just goes to show you, if you can teach your young children from an early age how to behave and how they should be acting, then they won't have to worry about that later. It's instilled in them. So that's one of my pet peeves about families who are just sitting in front of the TV with a hamburger and they're not training their children. Even if one day a week, have a very nice dinner and just watch how your children are eating, or even your spouse, and see if you can correct them in a very soft manner. And if you do it often enough without being confrontational, it's going to stick, and they're going to remember that later in life. It's just going to be instilled in them, and that is our job for our next generations, is to make those little niceties show up later in life. I'm going to move this back this way just a bit so maybe you can see. And this is something else I'm going to add. But first, on our deviled eggs, I want to add a black olive slice just as garnish. You could also use the parsley. So it makes a difference when you add that bit. If you have a more formal gathering, you can even add caviar, just a touch of caviar. And that is that. Now, these are pinwheels that I had from yesterday. I had made a platter for some friends yesterday and had some pinwheels that I had made up and not used. And these have provolone cheese and salami. And so we're going to add those here, because all I'm doing is giving anyone who comes by the opportunity to choose something they love. Something's going to catch their eye. They're going to love something about this platter. Now, one last sandwich, and then we are done with that, and we're going to move on. This is King's Hawaiian rolls. These are the sliders, and that reminds me, I made another video about these for Mardi Gras, but I'm not making the sandwiches that I made at Mardi Gras. So what I'm making now are just ham and cheese sandwiches, basic. This is boar's head ham. I've just taken thin slices and I've folded it into quarters, and I got this in the deli, and I'm trying to see if it's a specific type of ham. It's just cooked ham, boar's head cooked ham, and I love boar's head products. They are lovely products. They are not processed meats. They are thinly sliced piece of ham, the real deal. And now I'm using Sargento Swiss cheese, very thinly sliced, and I am stacking these sandwiches up. And I am not making a lot of these because they are very filling, and I don't think my guests that are coming are going to want this much food, but if the gentlemen are hungry, they will eat them. And I'm going to make one more of those. Ham and cheese, and that is all. That's as easy as it gets. So I have those. They are looking yummy, and don't you just love that Hawaiian bread, that little bit of sweetness to it? It just adds something special. I think I'm going to rearrange a few items because I want to add some vegetables. I have these sweet cherry tomatoes, just so pretty, and carrots. Let's put carrots here. Now this is just a pewter tray that I have. You can use anything, pottery, glass tray, silver tray, depending on the time of day or what type of event you're having. And I'm just going to fill this tray up with all kinds of goodies. And I'm trying to make it as spring-like as possible. I have some sliced cucumbers I'm going to tuck away in here. Oh, that one escaped. I have some vegetables along with the sandwiches. Now, if you want to put condiments out for the sandwiches or a dip maybe for the vegetables, that would be nice too. Your guests would appreciate that. I have fresh strawberries and some peaches. And we are just going to place these strawberries around. They've already been washed, and we're going to make them very colorful. Let's just put those along the edge. Look at the size of this one. Oh my. Nothing says springtime like strawberries. And let's slice a peach and put peach slices out. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you can make peach tea, and that's very spring-like as well. These have been washed as well. We have the colorful peaches. And I'll put these to the side, and you can keep adding, just building this tray up. And finally, we have some desserts. Now you can make mini muffins, you can make any kind of dessert you want, and set these around toward the back, like this. And I have Jordan almonds, and that screams springtime, doesn't it? Let's put these in a small dish so you can see how colorful they are. How is that? And set those around. I may have to eat that one. Good. Now I have some basil that I have pulled from my garden, and I'm just going to tuck this in among the sandwiches just for decor. Garnish, the more garnishing, the better it's going to look. And look at this. We have those beautiful tomatoes. Who can resist this? This is absolutely delicious, and you can make this as small and as large as you want, depending on the number of people you're having over. And there's not much cleaning up after this. Once this is gone, it's gone, and then you are done for the day. So I hope this gives you some ideas about entertaining during the upcoming holidays, or for wedding parties, or anything else that's special in your life. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget, you can always follow me on Instagram. Bye.